Let me ask you something real quick. What if the most expensive mistake of your financial life isn't a bad investment, isn't a medical bill, isn't even a divorce? What if it's parked in your driveway right now, depreciating by the hour? Stay with me through this video, and I'll show you exactly how a truck, just a truck, quietly steals $80,000 from your future, locks you out of homeownership, kills your career options, and turns you into someone who's always one bad month away from collapse. And I'll show you the move that the guys actually building wealth are making instead. Let's talk about Marcus, 33 years old, software engineer in Dallas, $87,000 a year. Smart enough to have a Roth IRA, reads the occasional finance article, genuinely considers himself decent with money. Last year, Marcus bought a Ford F-250 Lariat, $79,000. He told himself it was practical. He might need to haul things. It just made sense. 8 months later, the bed of that truck has carried exactly 3 things: a bag of mulch from Home Depot, a used dresser from Facebook Marketplace, and a case of LaCroix that didn't fit in his trunk. Marcus isn't a truck owner. Marcus is a truck payment with a LinkedIn profile. Let's start where your brain stops working the sticker price. The average new pickup truck in America today costs $64,000. Not the loaded trim, the average. Step up to the ones with names engineered to sound rugged, the Lariat, the High Country, the King Ranch, and you're at $75,000 to $95,000. Here's the number that should make you put the brochure down. The median household income in America is $84,000. You are financing a vehicle that costs more than your entire family earns in a year for transportation, to sit in traffic, alone. The dealer makes it digestible. 84 months, that's 7 years, and suddenly it's $1,250 a month. Sounds almost reasonable. You will be making payments on this truck for longer than most marriages last. But in that showroom, under those lights, with the salesperson smiling at you like you're making a great decision, $1,250 feels fine, so you sign. And then the costs they never mentioned start arriving. Fuel. Your F-250 gets about 15 miles per gallon in mixed driving. A Honda Accord gets 33. Drive 15,000 miles a year at $3.50 a gallon. Your truck costs $3,500 annually in fuel. The sedan costs $1,600. That's $160 every month because you wanted to sit 6 inches higher than the Prius next to you. Insurance. People say trucks are cheaper to insure. Liability? Sure. But you're not insuring a work truck. You're insuring a $90,000 luxury asset. Total a Camry, the bank loses $28,000. Total your Lariat, they're out $90,000. That gap absolutely crushes your collision and comprehensive premiums. Add $70 a month minimum. Tires. Those aggressive all-terrain tires that have never once left asphalt. Full replacement set runs $1,600 to $2,000 every 40-some thousand miles. Sedan tires cost $600. Amortize the difference. Another $60 a month gone. Maintenance. Bigger engine, more oil, bigger rotors, bigger everything. It all scales. Add $100 a month compared to a normal car. Registration. Many states tax by vehicle value. On a $90,000 truck, your annual registration hits $800 to $1,200. That's $80 a month just to legally drive the thing. Now let's build the real number, the one the dealership never puts on the whiteboard. Truck payment, $1,250. Extra fuel, $160. Insurance premium, $70. Tire depreciation, $60. Maintenance, Delta, $100. Registration, $80. Your actual monthly cost of truck ownership, $1,720. And you financed it at 7% interest because rates aren't what they used to be, over 84 months. You're not paying $79,000 for that truck. You're paying over $93,000, $14,000 handed directly to a bank for the privilege of borrowing money to buy something losing value every single day. Now let's look at the other universe. 3-year-old Toyota Camry, $27,000. Payment around $420. Insurance, $170. Gas, $120. Total monthly transportation cost, roughly $730. The gap between these two choices is $990 a month, $11,800 a year. Over 7 years, $82,000. That's not an exaggeration. That's not activist math. That's the documented, calculable cost of needing to feel powerful at a red light. But the direct cost isn't even the real damage. The real damage is what that $1,700 monthly obligation does to every other decision in your life. The home you can't buy? Mortgage lenders use your debt-to-income ratio. They want total monthly debt under 43% of gross income. That truck payment alone eats 24% of an $87,000 salary, before rent, before student loans, before groceries. You locked yourself out of buying a $350,000 house because you needed to look rugged at the Starbucks drive-thru. The vacation that disappears. Your friends are doing a long weekend in Nashville. Flights, Airbnb split, dinners, call it $1,000 all in. You check your account. The truck payment just cleared. You've got $400 until Friday. You tell them work is crazy right now. They go without you. You spend Saturday detailing the truck in your driveway. At some point, you started calling it a hobby, the emergency fund that never arrives. 6 months of expenses saved standard guidance. For you, that's around $19,000. But after the truck, insurance, rent, loans, and food, you've got maybe $150 left each month. At that pace, it takes you over 8 years to build a real emergency fund. 8 years of being one transmission failure away from a credit card spiral. And speaking of credit cards, the truck creates debt downstream that most people never trace back to the truck. Work clothes, you needed $400 on the Visa. Hotel for a wedding out of state on the card. December arrives with nothing, saved $900 on the card. 18 months later, you're carrying $6,000 at 23% interest. That's $115 a month in pure interest. Money you're paying for things you already consumed and forgot about. Then there's what happens to your relationship. If you have a partner, that truck payment becomes a third person in every financial conversation. They want to save for a down payment. The truck says no. They want to fix the leaking roof before winter. The truck says no. They suggest gently, reasonably, that maybe it's not worth it anymore. You get defensive, because at some point, you stopped owning the truck and the truck started owning you. Here's the one nobody talks about. What that payment does to your professional life. Expensive fixed obligations make you career conservative in ways that quietly compound. You can't quit the job that's hollowing you out because the truck needs its $1,250 every month. You can't negotiate hard for a raise because you're terrified of what happens if it goes sideways. You can't take the startup offer, the career pivot, the calculated risk that could change everything. That $90,000 status symbol just turned you into a hostage with heated seats. Now let's talk about what happens after month 3, because this is where the psychology gets uncomfortable. Hedonic adaptation. Your brain normalizes any new experience remarkably fast. Week 1 in that truck is genuinely great. The cab smells like a good decision, you feel capable, you feel like someone who has their life together. By week 10, it's just your car. The leather is just where you sit. But the payment doesn't adapt. It arrives the same size, every single month. You traded permanent financial stress for 90 days of excitement. That's the actual transaction you made, sitting in that showroom. 2 versions of you. Same income, same starting point, one different decision. Universe A bought the truck. 7 years later, a vehicle worth $42,000, a savings account that's mostly theoretical, and a career history defined by playing it safe because the obligations demanded it. Universe B bought the used Camry and invested the $990 monthly difference into a basic index fund at 8%. 7 years later, a car worth $10,000 and $100,000 in investments. Universe B can actually buy the boat, can take 6 months off, can make the move they've been thinking about for 3 years. Universe A has a really clean truck and a payment book. Now, some of you are already typing the comment, but I actually use mine. I tow, I haul, I go off-road on weekends. And if that's genuinely true, if the bed gets used weekly, if the tow rating is a real operational need, then you're buying a tool. The math still applies, but the conversation is different. But be honest, not with me, with yourself. Most truck owners use the bed maybe 5 times a year. A U-Haul van rental runs $35. Do that 8 times and you've spent $280. Compare that to $82,000 over 7 years. You're not buying a tool, you're buying a costume. And costumes are fine, just know what you're actually paying for one. Let's kill the depreciation argument because it never dies. Yes, trucks hold value better in percentage terms. A truck might lose 40% in 5 years. A sedan loses closer to 55. Sounds like a truck win. But 40% of 79,000 is 31,600 lost. 55% of 27,000 is 14,800 lost. You lost more than double the absolute dollars on the truck. Percentage depreciation is a meaningless stat when the base number is 3 times higher. The dealership knows this math. They're betting you won't do it. And the "I might need it" defense. Let's be clear. You might need a lot of things. You might need a chest freezer. You might need a kayak. You might need a standing desk. We don't buy things based on 2% probability future scenarios. We buy based on what we actually do 95% of the time. 95% of the time, you are commuting alone on paved roads to a climate-controlled office where the heaviest thing you lift is a laptop. Here's the honest question this whole conversation comes down to. Am I buying this truck because I need it because the actual operational demands of my actual life require it, or am I buying it because I want to feel a certain way? If the answer is the second one, that's okay. Just own it. Say it out loud. I am spending $80,000 extra over 7 years to feel like the kind of person who owns a truck. That's a real choice. Adults make expensive emotional purchases. But don't call it practical. Don't call it an investment. Don't tell yourself the resale value makes it smart. That's not a financial decision. That's an identity purchase on an 84-month payment plan. There's actually an economics term for this. Veblen goods. Products where higher price increases demand because ownership signals status. Luxury watches, designer bags, and a $90,000 pickup truck that exclusively drives on pavement. You're not buying transportation. You're buying a billboard that says, "I can afford this," even when the math says you can't. So what do you actually do? If you already own the truck and the numbers in this video are landing, sell it. I don't care if you're underwater on the loan. I don't care if it feels like surrender. It's not surrender. It's surgery. Take the financial hit now. Stop the bleeding. Start rebuilding from a real position instead of a photogenic one. Yes, you lose money on the sale. You lose less than 5 more years of payments. If you're still at the decision stage, here's exactly what to do. Go find the most boring, reliable sedan you can sit in without your ego screaming. Honda Accord, Toyota Camry, Mazda 6. Buy it used, 3 years old, and finance it for 36 months, not 84. Your payment drops to under $400. Your total transportation cost drops under $800 a month. That's $900+ you just gave back to your own life every single month. Invest part of it. Spend part of it on things that don't come with a 7-year anchor. Take the trip. Fix the thing in your house that's been bothering you for 2 years. The difference is, those purchases end. The truck payment doesn't. And when your buddy pulls up in his new Tundra and gives your Camry that look, you smile. Because you know his monthly number. You know he's one bad month from real stress. You know that in 5 years you'll have options, and he'll have a depreciating asset and a payment book he's still working through. The auto industry has spent decades and billions building a mythology around truck ownership. The commercials show mountains, mud, capability, freedom. They don't show the guy alone in traffic on a Wednesday morning doing mental math about whether he can cover his own payment. They don't show the vacation that got canceled, the house that never got bought, the career risk that never got taken because the truck had him handcuffed to stability. They're not selling you a vehicle, they're selling you a feeling. And they've priced that feeling at $90,000 plus interest, stretched across 7 years, designed to sound almost reasonable in a showroom under fluorescent lights. The math doesn't lie. The truck is a trap. And the only way out is to stop measuring your worth by the size of your payment and start measuring it by the size of your freedom. Quick note, the numbers in this video are based on current market averages and are for educational purposes only. Your actual costs will vary based on your location, credit score, and the specific vehicle you choose. This is not financial advice. Buy the boring car. Keep your money. Build a life that doesn't require a vehicle to explain it. Because real wealth doesn't announce itself from a lifted suspension. It shows up quietly, as options, as margin, as the ability to walk away from anything that doesn't serve you anymore. That's what the truck was supposed to feel like. That's what the Camry actually buys you.